All right, what's up, guys? It's Dallas, and we're back with Dream Large, Live Larger. For today's guest, I have none other than top 10 UFC Featherweight Dan Ige. Dan, 50K Ige. He shares his journey with us, how he started in Hawaii, wrestled in college, came back to Hawaii, started fighting, and how he became top 10 UFC Featherweight. Check it out, guys. It's coming next. I'm about to bring him on in the call, on a Zoom call. We're about to blow this shit up, man. What we want to do is we want to get Hawaii MMA out on the map. So stay tuned, guys. Coming up next.
Here. Sounds good.
Good. Yeah, everything's good, man. Cool, brother. Well, how you been, man? I haven't seen you. It's been a long time. Seeing you face to face and just hearing from you. How's everything been?
I know, man. Honestly, it's like since high school days almost. It feels like in early college days in wrestling. And yeah, man, everything's good. Just been enjoying the journey, the fighter journey, and now as a dad, the family journey. And it's crazy, man, just going through life and trying to enjoy every second of it. But it's pretty good.
Yeah, man, yourself? I bet. Yeah, I've been great, man. I actually recently just started coaching MMA wrestling at Hawaii Elite MMA.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah, I've been helping out the guys there. There's a lot of new faces, but some of the older guys, they come back and they work with me for wrestling. So
that's good. That's good.
I do some private lessons. Well, I noticed that Hawaii lacked a little bit of the wrestling side, especially in the MMA game. A lot of stand-up fighting. And then our good wrestlers, they go to Vegas or Cali.
Yeah, no, it's good though. It's good. It's good to give back. Giving back to the community, and that's where they need help. And
for sure,
it's you got some good knowledge there.
I do my part. Yeah, I do my part. I remember. I think the last time I saw you was at one of the open tournaments, like a NIAC tournament or something.
So random,
we were both freshmen. Yeah, I was there, and you were like, Dallas. I was like, hey, Dan, what's up? I didn't even know you were there. You're at Wartburg, right?
Yeah, Wartburg.
How long were you wrestling there? 2 years.
2 years. I wish looking back at it, I wish I stayed longer. And I didn't really have the drive, the mental drive to compete, or I didn't believe I could be a national champion. So I was just going through the motions. Although my second year, I felt like I got pretty decent. I was getting a lot better, especially all the new guys coming in. I felt like just from sticking it out one season, you improve so much, and you understand coming from high school to the collegiate level, it's just such a different level of
definitely
wrestling, just in the room in general. So but yeah, looking back at it, it's I can't have regrets, because I feel like I got the perfect amount of wrestling for my MMA career. I didn't wrestle since I was a little kid. I started my junior year in high school, and then I technically only have four years of wrestling, but it's the perfect amount, I feel like.
What changed your mind? I know that you said that you pretty much felt like you're going through the motions. You didn't think you could actually make it. What changed that mindset when you got into MMA? What made you think holy shit, I'm actually super good at this? Or did wrestling even help you at all? Or
no, wrestling helped. And honestly, my coach back at Wartburg was instilling a mindset in me at the time that I didn't even know, just like a champion, a Mamba mentality, do it anyway mentality, be the best. And I didn't know, and I didn't adapt it at the time, but when I pursued MMA, I was doing jiu-jitsu honestly before wrestling, and I didn't have any striking whatsoever. But I remember my first MMA fight, I won in the first round, but I got a different feeling from it. So I constantly chased that feeling, but I also knew I couldn't go into an MMA fight with any doubt whatsoever, because I could get knocked unconscious. It's different than a wrestling match. I felt like there was a lot more danger that made me more cautious, and I had to believe. So I kind of had a vision from day one, where I was gonna go, even when it didn't seem possible from my friends, my family, looking at from the outside in. But I just believed I would make it one day if I just kept working hard at it, and took the mindset from wrestling, but I applied it to MMA pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of wrestlers, that join MMA, it's easy for them to like have that not give up attitude and kind of want to be the best because they've been doing it pretty much since either elementary, high school, or whatever, wherever they started. Like you, even junior year,
Yeah.
your college coach was the one by the second year instilled that mentality in you. And so that's what I
Yeah.
love about being a wrestler myself, because even when it comes to coaching, I'm like, no, I can still learn. I actually learned a lot from Daryl. I know that you worked with him at Ruka. So like
Yeah. Yeah.
even him, like I learned a lot from him. I watched a lot of his stuff. He came to Hawaii, did a seminar, and me, like I know that I've been to Iowa State. I had a lot of success, and I've been on a national championship team at St. Cloud, but it's different. It's like I still want to learn. I still have that competitive mentality, but now it's like towards coaching, you know, like I can still be
Yeah.
the best coach. I can still learn. I can still teach better things. I could still develop, you know, players or MMA fighters or wrestlers' minds, you know, like kind of
Yeah.
like how
Yeah.
your coach did to you. Because your coach at Wartburg, he actually came to St. Cloud to speak at one practice, bro. He's legit, man.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
he's a really good mental coach. And
Yes.
man, and he sent me his book actually right after my last fight. He sent me his book. So I'm almost done reading it, but it's an awesome book.
I'm
If you
gonna
ever
get it.
want to
What
just
is it?
pick,
I'm gonna take a note of it.
called Do It Anyway by Jim
Okay.
Miller.
Let me take that down, man.
Yeah, I recommend it for anyone listening, and it goes for anyone. Like it doesn't, you don't have to be an athlete. You could be a businessman or whatever. It's just like there's so many good principles in the book that you can apply just in life in general or sports or. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, just that's
One more
awesome.
time. One more time. What was it?
Do it anyway.
Do it anyway. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, bro. I took a note of it because I love reading like new books, especially books like that, right? There was one, Tim Grover, I think it was. It was the one with he followed or he coached like more so on the mental side, but a little bit on the physical side, all like
Yeah.
the top NBA athletes, and it's called
Oh yeah.
Relentless. Yeah, it's called Relentless, and
Um,
that book was killer, man.
I never read that book, but I heard of that guy Tim Grover and just like
Yeah,
the mental mindset he instilled in a lot of the
yeah.
guys. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I gotta check. I'll
That
check that
Kobe
one out.
mindset. Yeah,
Yep.
man, it's super good, and it sounds similar to what your coach does too.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to I know you did 2 years in college. Immediately after your second year, did you think I want to do MMA? I know you moved back to Hawaii for a bit. That's why, because we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about a possible sponsorship with the company I was working for. I remember that.
Yeah.
How long did you until you found out you
I
wanted to be a fighter?
so after my first year at Wartburg, when I went back home for the summer, I did like it was like a pancreation, like wasn't like a full MMA fight. It was, forgot what they
Yeah,
call
yeah.
it. Like
The
it was like
pancreation.
different. Yeah, it was like pancreation. It had like it had different rounds, like the boxing. They had like boxing with takedowns and then grapple. It was weird,
Ah,
but it was.
that
I
Trinity
remember doing
thing.
that, and it was in a cage. So I did that. I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. But that's all I did. And then I did some grappling tournaments. I went back, did one more year at Wartburg, competed, came back that summer again, and I that's when I did my first MMA fight. And I kind of at the time I already like in my mind I wasn't gonna go back to work. It was just like a lot of things going on at the time, like family stuff, financials, like how was I gonna get scholarship? Like I don't know. I kind of like was a dumb college kid, you know, just slacked off a little bit. Didn't get the best grades my second year. Just
Mhm.
was lived that kind of college lifestyle.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I like necessarily got homesick, but it was like I just felt like more of an outcast being all the way from Hawaii, being in Iowa. And then
Mhm.
yeah, so I ended up going to UH. I transferred because I was able to get like a local grant and stuff going there. And
Cool.
then
Nice.
I remember I was going to UH and working construction, going to UH, and then trying to like do MMA fights. And I got a good amount of MMA fights after my first one. I ended up doing 11 MMA amateur fights in Hawaai. So
11?
yeah, I had 11
Wow.
AMI fights,
That's
and
actually a
then
lot, man.
yeah, it was quite a bit. And I was just trying to fight anyone and I learned on the job because, like I said, I had no stand up. I had jujitsu and a little bit of wrestling and judo, and yeah, so it was scary because everyone's a good striker in Hawaii, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
just trying to like fight and win, and like I always had that fight in me, but I probably wasn't the most exciting fighter in the beginning because I was just trying to, survive and
Yeah.
win and survive, basically, not get knocked out. uh but it was good. Like it was good getting that experience. And then I had two pro fights actually before. No, I had three pro fights before I moved to actually made the full time move to Vegas.
Nice.
To
What year was that when you moved?
shoot, it was
2016.
yeah, 2016. Yep, 5 years. It
Yeah.
was 5 years. So January will make 6 years.
And how did you do on those first 3 pro fights in Hawaii?
It was I did good. My first fight, I fought Spencer Higa. I won.
Oh
I
wow,
finished
pretty good.
the 3rd round, and it
Nice.
was like that was like he had a lot of experience. That was my debut, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember fighting him in a crazy venue, and I was like, that was like I never been like nervous going into MMA fight, but I don't know if I was experiencing nerves or what, but I just didn't like. I didn't want to compete that day, but it was nice to overcome that adversity and
Yeah.
get the victory. And then after that, I had my second pro fight. Actually, I got an RFA, so I went to I bought my own ticket to California because they weren't gonna pay for the flight from Hawaii, and I fought a 5-0 guy, and I got first round finish. Like I flew there, I didn't have anywhere to stay. I stayed in Black House, like at the gym, and I slept there, and then they provided a hotel room, like the weigh-in night and then the fight day night. So like I went up there like 3 days before. I slept in the gym, slept on the mats, and then yeah, I had one more fight in Hawaii. I fought. It was like they did like a pancrase show, Japan versus Hawaii, and I ended up losing a split decision. And like I remember that fight too, like pretty clearly. I wanted to win so bad because I wanted to impress. Like I wanted to represent for Hawaii. Like, and I lost, and I kind of knew at that time. Like I already knew. I was just waiting for a good reason, but like I knew I had to get out of my comfort zone a little and grow. So that's like that's what I did for wrestling, right? Like I wanted to grow and be better. I was like, what better place to go to than Iowa? You know, you understand. Like you went there, and it's just outside the comfort zone. So that's what I did with my fighting career, and I got out of Hawaii. And Hawaii is my comfort, you know, but it's always my home comfort. So
same. So I don't know if this correlates with each other, but I was just thinking about what you said. Is it because you took that loss that made you decide you wanted to move to Vegas, or was that just a coincidence?
kind of just a coincidence. Like I'm not like an excuse guy, like, oh, I lost because of this coach or this coach. It was just more of like, I mean, to make it as a fighter in Hawaii is pretty tough. Number one, like what I don't like about Hawaii MMA is like a lot of the top prospects kill each other off, and they don't really get to shine and make it because like it's always like Hawaii Elite versus good tech, like whatever, like the best guys coming up, and it's like we want to protect these guys coming up and then get them to a big show. Like that's the goal, not to just be the best guy in Hawaii. We want to be the best guy to represent Hawaii. So I kind of felt like that was one reason. Another reason was just like it's expensive to live in Hawaii, and like I was working full-time construction and then training after, and that's what a lot of people have to do, unfortunately. It's just how even coaches, like coaches, it's not their full-time job, most of them, to coach. So and I've been up to Vegas quite a few times, even in my amateur career. Just did like little 3-week sessions. Like Brad Tavares has always been inviting and like let me stay on his couch. So he was always the guy in my ear trying to, he's like, bro, when you gonna make the move? When you gonna make the move? And I knew that, like, I knew after that it was time. I think that fight was in November. I ended up moving in January. So
nice.
Yeah.
So he was a pretty big impact in your MMA career, Brad.
Yeah, definitely, especially in the beginning. Like I said, as an amateur, I probably went up to Vegas 3 times and like got to live I went up for like 2 or 3 weeks at a time, and I would stay with Brad, and whatever he did, I would just go to every practice. So it was the first time like I got a taste of being a full-time fighter, of going to AM strength and conditioning, coming home, resting, going to train, going to spar, come back, like just the full schedule. I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like, I don't do that in Hawaii. Like construction was my strength and conditioning, or you know what I mean? So I knew all along that's where I needed to be. It just when the time was right, I was gonna go, and that's when it happened. So
nice. When I talked to Maki, he was even telling me the same thing. He was like, yeah, it was just time for me to move on. He kind of, I don't want to say he outgrew it, but he wanted something a lot more like focused on him full time, And so
Yeah.
that's why he made the move to Vegas as well. How is it training with a bunch of like some of the Hawaii wrestling boys around our same age group, like Puna and Boston and those guys?
Yeah,
Everyone
nice. Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. We got Puna, Boston, got Kai Kamaka just is up here now. Dude, we got so many guys. Brad, Maki, Al Punipogo, he's on the come up. He's 1-0 as a pro, got his second pro fight coming up. Dude, there's so many guys, and it just feels home. It's like they call it the ninth island, but like it's like it feels like we're at home because you go to the gym every day, you see your boys, and it's just kind of nice to have that. And it's just easy to live here. It's cheap, and everything from where I live, everything is like a 10-minute drive. The UFC PI, the gym, all my like everything's so centrally located. So it's I mean, it's a place to be. That's how I see it. It's just for my growth in my career. It's where I gotta be.
I don't want to like create any like controversy or anything, but I just know that a lot of the people, including like Louis Smoka, like a lot of people that move out of Hawaii, Max being the only exception in my opinion, but a lot of the guys that move outside of Hawaii, they have a lot more success in the bigger promotions. Like you guys are getting, into the UFC pretty quickly. A lot of you guys that went up to Vegas after the move, you guys got in, pretty quickly. And I don't know if that, means anything, but I feel like, when you pretty much outgrew your comfort zone, right? Like you said, your comfortability, it's time to like look for something better. And hopefully that I'm helping out with the wrestling and a lot of the MMA. I'm doing a lot of my studying and research. Hopefully that I change a little bit of that in Hawaii. That's kind of my goal, to get more guys up to the big show that currently live in Hawaii. So they don't have to move, but I noticed that a lot of guys like you guys, you choose a different path. You guys decide to go up there and then look what happens, you're ranked top 10 and,
For sure. And like, I mean, I don't see it as like you have to be here. Like it could be done at home. Like it could be done anywhere in the world. It's just the opportunity. Like I'll use Kai for an example. Like he came up, he fought in LFA, and it was like in the middle of a pandemic. And there's so many like, you don't know, so many fights are falling out week to week because someone gets COVID or something. This and like, so his something in him just told him stay and just stick around and train, and like. So that's how he got in the UFC. Someone fell out and he was in the right place. Like they didn't go pick a guy all the way from Hawaii. They got a guy right there in Vegas. They don't have to fly. So there's so many fights in Vegas, and man. But no, I'm a big supporter of Hawaii MMA, and like I do think it's good for for some guys is that's where they got to be, and some other guys need to get out because it is their comfort. To me, just like. I'd rather go surf or do whatever and go to the beach, than train. So I can't do that here in the desert.
Yeah, man. So I know that there's a few guys like in Hawaii it's a little difficult because say you do take a fight in LFA or something like that, the traveling right from Hawaii all the way there, so it probably is a lot easier to just stay out there so that sometimes if you're coming up in the local circuit and you take a fight somewhere and they can't pay for flight, at least you can drive or something like that, right? Like a little easier access.
It's almost like traveling from another country. Like if you in Hawaii, you're basically it's like you're so isolated. But hopefully cars start popping back up over there. We
just got announced that we're shutting the potential one we were doing just got shut down. They're doing new mandates on the 13th here because our COVID cases went up to like 1,000, and it's just they're shutting everything back down again, man. It's pretty difficult.
Governor Ige is not my uncle. It's not my uncle.
Letting everyone know. Man. So it's been tough, especially for those fights. But I did notice the local circuits are paying a little more and offering a little more. I'm not sure if that's true, but like some of our guys at Hawaii MMA, they get flights paid for, like $5,000 purse. Like I was like, oh wow, that's
pretty good to be honest.
I was like, oh wow, flight, hotel, weigh-in, and the night of the fight only, and then flight, and then $5,000 or $6,000 purse. I was like, oh wow, I was like, that's actually a super good deal. But
until I got to the UFC, I never made like my first pro fight. I got 10 tickets. And like I could have took the profit, but I got 10 tickets. My second fight, I got like 500 and 500. And all the way to the UFC, I never made more than 1,000 besides the contender series. Like I think it was like 5,000, 5,000. I was like, wow, this is like,
Yeah,
I
way
got
better.
more. They gave me per diem. They gave me like $680 cash per diem for contender series, and I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is more than like my like
Purse.
fight purse in any other fight. So I was pretty stoked about that. But no, it's good. I think all fighters should definitely start getting paid more. I mean, the sport's really blowing up and evolving, and it's a mainstream sport. So hopefully it'll pay
So,
off.
so
Yeah.
the pay when you climb up the ranks, obviously it gets better. But when did you start to notice like a big jump? Like, did you do like a recent contract signing where it was like a lot more? You got paid a lot more than when you first got into the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, and especially for anyone coming up, like it's not about the money. Like, of course it's about the money because now this is how I provide for my family. But
Yes.
coming up, like, it shouldn't just be about the money. It should be about the passion. And if you're like, you're gonna lose money regardless, like doing a full training camp, and then if you make a thousand, you're losing money because you invest so much into your camp and your training,
Mhm.
your diet, your nutrition, and coaches and whatever. Like, you're not making money, so that shouldn't be a motivator for anyone coming up in the beginning. But
Yes.
um, yeah, not even like, obviously getting to the UFC is boom. Like, you make your first real chunk of money, but it's still not what a high level athlete, should
Mhm.
probably be getting. But at the same time, it's a blessing because it's nothing, we've ever experienced. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I'm on my second, I'm on my third or fourth contract in the UFC. So,
Nice, man.
yeah, no, I'm fortunate and blessed, and it's
If you,
nice, man.
so
But yeah,
so you keep winning and the contracts keep getting higher. Is there basically or
typically
typically?
the whatever promotion you sign in will sign you to probably a 4-fight deal, and
Mhm.
you win 3 of those and you renegotiate for another 4 fights and win 3
Yeah.
more, or lose
Yeah.
or win, doesn't matter. You just keep renegotiating. And
Mhm.
I mean, there's also free agency. People can fight out their contract and test
Mhm.
the market and become a free agent. It's a risk, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's a big risk that can pay off.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's sketchy because MMA is, you can never take it for granted, or you can never guarantee a win. You could think you're gonna win and fight out your contract and lose and get knocked out, and no one wants you. And now you just like,
Uh,
yeah, it's a
if,
risky,
uh-huh.
yeah, there's a time and
Yeah.
place for it though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess one of the last things I want to touch on was your last fight, and if you know who you're fighting next. I know last fight was probably your biggest star that you fought. Man, you looked solid in the fourth and fifth round. How did you feel
Yeah.
about it?
Looking back at the fight, it it's just, it was a good fight. It was a good experience. It still bums me out, like, thinking about it, but like in a good way. Like, in a good way that I know I can be better. I know I can
Wow.
continue to improve. Like, I
Mhm.
know it makes me excited because that's not my best form. That's not that's not everything I have to offer. So in a sense, like, yes, I'm excited to continue to grow and be better. Um, but from like a mental standpoint, like, being that like my first fight as a dad, I've always been a very internally driven guy. Like,
Mhm.
motivation is never a question. And I really like forced um like being a dad and using my son as like an external motivator, that I had made everything about that, and like it almost took away from the moment. So like, I don't know, do you have kids?
No, no.
Yeah, but I'm sure some dads can relate, just maybe their first time going into competition. Like, it's just a little bit different. It was like a different mindset I was in, and that's not my excuse for losing. Zombie was great. You fought a great game plan. I just
Mhm.
didn't stick to a game plan. My game plan was to perform. That was it. Like,
Yeah.
I got in the best shape I could, and my game plan was to knock him out. Like, I had
Yeah.
no true game plan.
Mhm.
So and it didn't work out. But I've been in a nice, like, now I feel like I'm in a good place. After I was bummed, but I'm in a good place right now where I'm just kind of I've regained my focus. I regained my fire, motivation. I took a little break to spend time with the family and just
Good.
adapt. And yeah, so here I am again. I'm just climbing back up, getting in shape. My mind's strong, so now I gotta get my body strong.
Yeah.
And with that being said, yeah, I don't have any opponents right now, but I have let the UFC know that I'm healthy again, and
Mm.
I would be ready to compete by December at the earliest. But if not, like I'm not in a rush. I can wait till
Yeah.
next year. But yeah, I mean, I fought a lot in the last 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, you
It's
did.
been yeah,
Mhm.
it's been a grind. So it's nice to have some time off to like really sit back and kind of grow again. You
Mhm.
know.
Nice. And then on these times where you take or on these situations where you take some time off, and I'm talking about like some other fighters too. I know people get injured and maybe um they get busted for some PEDs. What
Yeah.
are other ways to make money as a professional fighter, especially if you're in the UFC and maybe you're ranked top 15, like you're pretty solid? Do you guys get a lot of outside sponsorships to like that you can promote on Instagram and stuff like that? Do they pay you guys pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, here, yes and no. It's also a job. Like being like, there's a lot of money to be made out there, but it is also a full-time job. Like having good content creators, and YouTube. Like I don't have I'm slacking in that area. Like I don't have a YouTube,
No.
but a lot of people like if you can make a YouTube, like for a young fighter, it wouldn't be a bad idea to start one. Just start pumping out some content and
Mhm.
like consistently but slowly build your channel, and then same with Instagram, like pump out your content because there's so much money to be made. It's just like, but it takes a lot of work. So like for me, I don't really use my Instagram to try to make money, and I could and I should be, but it's like I just feel like I don't know. I could say I don't have the time, but it's not about
Mm.
the time. I guess it's just a priority. Like if you make it your priority, yeah, I can sit there and build awesome content, put out content like daily and weekly or whatever, and then
Mm.
potentially make money from that. But at the same time, it is pretty. It's hard. It's a full time
Mhm.
job, and I feel like you know that's why they got media and content people. You got to hire people.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
just gonna say. Maybe it might be a good idea for some of these fighters that when they can afford it, pay a percentage of all of their business and Instagram sponsorship deals. Maybe give them a percentage and have them focus on specifically getting businesses to sponsor you. And
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good investment because,
yeah,
like I said, there is money to be made, but it takes
mm,
time and effort. So if you had a
yeah,
team that did that,
yeah.
it would make things a lot easier.
I think that a lot of people, no offense out there, but that are complaining about the fighter pay. I mean, it's a little bit of their fault by not taking the time to say, "Hey, I'm not a top 10 guy yet, but until I get there, I do have mouths to feed, and I should focus on that, that social media money, right? Being sponsored,
Yeah.
like sponsorship deals, endorsement deals, and I feel like that's where they're lacking. And I think that with the name, image, like this deal with the NCAA, I think that's going to help a lot because now
Yeah.
college kids are like, hey, we can make money posting on Instagram for businesses. Let me pump out my Instagram following. Let me put out some wrestling videos or some football videos, basketball shit like that. And
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, man, that's gonna like help. That'll only help fighters that are coming out, like wrestlers that become fighters. That's gonna help them because they're gonna be a little more used to
Yeah.
making money through Instagram.
For
But
sure. And that's the sad truth. It's not like that's what the world's come down to. Like it's a social media world,
yes.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You could
Yup.
think it's lame, but like that's people are freaking buying houses in Hawaii.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
it's I'm a
Big
pro
time
athlete. I don't
money.
have a house in Hawaii. And
Mhm.
I'm a top 10 in the UFC. I don't have a house in Hawaii, but like you got guys that are just like, you know, all credit to them. They're grinding in their way. So
Mhm. Yep.
definitely, yeah, it's a necessity if you wanna, you know, be a star and
Yeah.
make some money.
Yeah. And the cool thing, the thing that I thought about with that name, image, likeness, I think I listened to a podcast as well. But I know that like for example, in California, the taxes are so high. So
Yeah,
say you get a bunch of endorsement deals, but you're playing at USC or UCLA, the government's gonna take like almost half of that. You know what I mean? They're
yeah,
gonna take your taxes, but then you got a school like Baylor or something in Texas where they don't have any state taxes.
Yep.
and you get you pay the federal, but you get majority of endorsement deal. I think more schools should pitch that, and they're gonna get the better recruits. Cali schools like that are, they might miss out because they're not gonna be able to make as much money as some of these other schools with
That's true.
tax,
Something you never really think about, but yeah, that's true. And
yeah. If anyone out there is a college athlete listening, pay your taxes too. You get in a lot of trouble. So pay your taxes for all your endorsement deal. Always put aside, like 30-40% just in case. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today, man. I know I took a little bit longer here, but to get someone top 10 UFC, man, I love to hear all your stories and how you got there, especially the journey and the mental side of it. A lot of people that do listen, they are actually MMA fans, so it'd be great to hear from you and kind of hear your struggles plus some of your breakthroughs and how you were able to overcome things. And it's great, man. You have a good story, and I'm actually like honored that I got to meet you in high school from wrestling, and then in college a little bit. So it's cool because I get to share your story all the time. It's like, hey, man, this guy started late. He wasn't a high top placer. He wasn't a state champ. He went to college, didn't do very well, but look at him now. It's like, like the journey, man. It's about not giving up on that ultimate goal in life. You know what I mean? So
Thank
man,
you,
yeah,
bro.
man. Yo,
Yeah.
so hey, thanks for jumping on again, man. And I'm sorry for pestering you so much.
I'm sorry it took forever, but glad we finally got we're able to get it done. So best of luck in all your coaching and everything too. That's
you too, brother.
That's awesome.
Best of luck all the way to that belt, bro. I believe in you, man. You'll get it. For sure,
Right
man.
on.
Okay, man. Yeah, we'll talk again soon, man. I'll keep in touch. All right. All right, brother. All right.